It's been over a year since I showcased my entire vinyl record collection. And so I think the time has finally come to do an update video. So last year I had about 40 records, and now it has gone to roughly over 60-ish or so. So hopefully that's enough records to actually do a full video, because apparently 40 wasn't enough. Fucking asshole. Anyway, hopefully some of you have been looking forward to this, and if you are, please give this video a like. If you are new, please subscribe to the channel, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. Now, if there are some of you who are new to this channel, please know that I am mostly a CD person, and I very rarely get records. The only time I get a record is either I think it would be cool to have, or it's an album I really love. And pretty much all these records I really do enjoy, but there's definitely a few that I absolutely love and I just had to get on record. So just wanted to make that clear. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to go through, it's in alphabetical order, I believe. I did the best I could, so maybe there's a couple that might be in the wrong place. We'll see as we go. But we're just going to start from the beginning and then work our way across. But first, let's showcase some 45 singles. So here are some of my 45 singles. I don't get them nearly as often as records. I might look through them when I go to a record store and I might find a song I'd be like, okay, this would be kind of cool to have. So again, it's very small, but we're just go through these really quick. So the first one is this one right here. This is a Led Zeppelin 45, and this is the song Immigrant Song. And on the B side, you have the song, Hey Hey, What Can I Do? And that's really the reason why I picked this up, because, you know, it's one of those songs that didn't make it on Led Zeppelin 3, and in hindsight, that'd probably be a better case. But anyway, I thought it'd be kind of nice to have. Of course, Immigrant Song is classic, but really, Hey Hey, What Can I Do? is I just thought it would be nice to have here. So that's the first one. And then kind of jumping from hard rock to some disco, I have a Donna Summer 45. It's for the song Last Dance, and the B side is the song With Your Love. And I mean, Last Dance, that's a great song. It's actually probably my favorite Donna Summer song, and I just love how it starts very slow, but then it just goes right into the more dance oriented sound, and she sounds great on it. So excellent track from her. And this one I've shown before. We have my Phil Collins One More Night single, and the B-side is The Man with the Horn, which, I mean, if you have not heard Man with the Horn, it's actually a pretty cool song. Kind of a nice song that's not on any album, but it just has a cool horns. I mean, goes without saying. And of course, One More Night is excellent. It's my favorite, one of my favorite Phil Collins songs. It's a ballad, so there you go. And then I also have The Police, Wrapped Around Your Finger, and the B-side is a live rendition of Tea in the Sahara. I mean, the live track, I kind of wish it was something else, but still it's interesting. But Wrapped Around Your Finger is an excellent song. Love it very much. And then we have some Genesis, and I actually did a whole video on this. We have the Spot the Pigeon EP. Of course, there's a 12-inch version, but I just happened to stumble upon the 12-inch, or not the 12-inch, the 7-inch rendition of it. So it's still very cool. Again, I made a whole video talking about the history of this, so please check it out. And the other Genesis related single I have is the song In Too Deep. It's the UK version, because in the UK, the B-side is an instrumental called Do the Neurotic, which is a very cool instrumental during the Invisible Touch era. So if you've not heard Do the Neurotic, it's actually a pretty cool track. Speaking from a guy who doesn't really listen to much instrumental music, but still, it's actually kind of interesting. And the last one I'll show is actually, I guess, like a little EP sort of thing, and I got this free from Bandcamp. It's from the band called Wooing, and it's the EP called The Clouds, and the songs featured are Could Have Been and In Your Head, which is more of the indie rock sort of emo sort of sound. So if you're into that, it's actually kind of interesting. It's actually pretty cool, pretty good listen. And the record itself is actually in a nice kind of red color, and you can see it right here. It's my only colored record I have in my collection, so I thought it kind of makes it stand out. So I think it's kind of nice. So there you go. Those are some of my 45 singles that I own. And now we finally get to the actual records, and we're going to start from here because it starts with the B's. So I'm going to see if I can just slide it out easily. So the first one here is actually one of the more recent additions to the collection. This is the album The Head First, and it's by the band called The Babies. I know, very terrible name, but this is the band where John Waite's got his start. He would have a big hit in the 80s called Missing You. And this was actually a surprise sort of listen, because I bought it on CD first, and I was really impressed with what I heard. It's got a nice like pop rock sort of sound. Bit of a, I guess I wouldn't say arena rock, but definitely has something on that vein. But there's a lot of great songs on this. Let me showcase the back cover. There it is right there. And I don't know if I showed the records on the Chrysalis label. Songs like Love Don't Prove I'm Right, Every Time I Think of You is a great kind of single. I also really love the song White Lightning. Run to Mexico is great. And I love the song California. Granted, I'm from California, so there might be some bias there, but still, it's an excellent song. And yeah, that's the only Babies album I've heard, but at some point I definitely want to check more from them because I really am liking their sound quite a bit. So that's the first record I'm showing. Okay, then following the Babies, we have the Band, and this is my favorite album from them. It's also called the Brown Album, and it's another spectacular album. Good old-fashioned roots rock Americana at its finest. I mean, you have songs like Rag Mama Rag, The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, Up on Cripple Creek, Across the Great Divide. Let me see, don't have the track listing memorized, but Unfaithful Servant's another fantastic song. But yeah, it's wonderful, and I love the actual outer sleeve because it has an interesting texture, which is kind of cool. Definitely different from the other records I have, but love this album as well. And now we get to some of my Beach Boys records. I picked up the Christmas album, I think sometime last year. Definitely a nice one to play during the holidays. It's a pretty solid Christmas album. I don't love everything on here, but of course you have Little Saint Nick and other various songs they do renditions of, like White Christmas, I'll Be Home for Christmas, and many others here. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Blue Christmas. But still a nice sort of record to play during the holidays. Let me put that here for now. But I also have the Beach Boys Today, one of my favorites from the band. Probably maybe my second favorite, really. Just has songs like Dance, 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 When I Grow Up, Help Me Rondo, of course, Do You Want to Dance? And also has another great deep cut with I'm So Young, which is one of my favorites on the album as well. And just a great precursor of what Bryan was going to do not long after this. But it's another masterpiece from them. Which, speaking of their masterpiece, yes, I do have Pet Sounds, and I have shown this before, but this is not an original, which I definitely would. I mean, in a perfect world, it would be cool to have an original Pet Sounds, but of course those goes for a lot of money, so I decided to just settle for this 50th anniversary mono version. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it still sounds good, and at least I have Pet Sounds in the collection at least. So this will suffice for now, but still, it would be cool to have an original. But I don't need to say much more on this album. It's one of my favorite albums ever. And of course, we lost Brian Wilson, if I haven't mentioned that already. So yeah, been playing this a lot recently. And now we get to my only Beatles record, and that's this classic one. We have Abbey Road, of course. I mean, this is one of those records you kind of have to own at some point. But yeah, this is actually an original US press. And again, if you can't tell, if you look on the back, it does not have Her Majesty listed in the track listing. So that's one way to find out. But still, I mean, it's my favorite Beatles album. Just had to get it. So not much else to say really on that one. And now we get to my first solo artist that I have in my collection. And when it comes to individual artists, usually it's by last name. So they're in the B's here. And this is actually my most modern album I have in my collection. We have Wise Blood, Titanic Rising, one of my favorite discoveries I've made in the past like couple years. Gave this one a listen. I love this sort of like dream pop sort of feel. It just has this very, very interesting atmosphere that it has, and I really like her voice too. It's kind of on the more lower end, but it just really fits the tone than what she's going for. If you're going to check out a song, I would recommend the song Andromeda. Love that one. Love the slide guitar on that one. But still have it on record right here. Yeah, came out in 2019 if I'm not mistaken, but I think it's a really good one. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't. All right, and then we get to my favorite female artist of all time, and that is my beloved Kate Bush, Hounds of Love, my favorite album from her. I mean, I've gushed about this album many times, so I'm not going to go any further, but just to let people know, this is actually a Japanese pressing of it. I actually got it for a pretty good price, and it's in really good condition. So, I mean, hey, it's mixing Japan and Kate Bush, so cool. Now we move on to the C's, and first up we have Phil Collins. We have Face Value, his debut, which I shown recently. So again, I'm not going to go more in depth on this one, but I love this one. Still maybe my favorite Phil Collins album, but the next one I'm going to show is definitely probably second place. And who knows, maybe it will overtake it at some point, but as of now, this is my second favorite Phil Collins, and that is No Jack Required. Another fantastic album. It's most poppy sounding, but that's kind of why I like it a lot. I mean, you got Sussudio. I already have One More Night. I showed the 45 on it. Don't lose your number. Take Me Home. Just a great 80s pop album. Definitely an excellent one to get here. And then we have another Christmas album. We got Bing Crosby. We have Merry Christmas, which I recently got on CD, so now I have it on both mediums. Again, shout out to Scott from Sound Studios. He's the one who sent me this, and he sent me a couple records that I'm going to be showing, and I'll mention that as we go. But another Christmas album for the collection, very cool. And now we are already done with C's, actually. It's actually not too much. Moving on to the D's, we get to one of my favorite rock bands ever, and that is Deep Purple. This is one of the more recent additions. We have In Rock, my favorites. Deep Purple album. Absolutely adore this one. I'd say it's their most consistently heavy album from the 70s, I'd say. I mean, you got like Speed King, Bloodsucker, Child in Time. Then you have Hard Lovin' Man, Into the Fire. Just a killer album. And of course, Ian Gillan's vocals are just amazing, and so is Richie's guitar. And really the whole band's just on fire at this point. This is when they really make their mark. Again, I made a whole video on the Mark I, which is still good, but Mark II is my Deep Purple, really, but I like a lot of Deep Purple. So I'm going to slide it in, and then we probably show Deep Purple's most famous album. If you say this is your favorite, I am not going to argue with you. It's probably my second favorite, maybe, but we have Machine Head, another spectacular album. I mean, you have Highway Star, maybe I'm a Leo, Pictures of Home, of course, Smoke on the Water, and then you have Space Truckin'. Yeah, it is another classic rock album. Love it very much. So put that in there. And then we go on to some Def Leppard, and this is my final D record. We have my favorite Def Leppard album, Pyromania. Just a great blend of their more commercial side while still maintaining their more heavy sound. Where when you get to Hysteria, which I still love, it's not as heavy, but this one still has the heaviness intact. And it's another fun album. Of course, Photograph, Rock Till You Drop, Rock of Ages, Billy's Got a Gun. Yeah, excellent rock album from the 80s. And then we go on to the E's. We have Eagles. We have, of course, gotta have this one, Hotel California. I mean, it's a classic album. I'm pretty sure I don't need to say much about it, but it's one I had to get because of just how legendary it is, and definitely deserves its status. I still really love it to this day. And this one I also really dig. It's my only album from this band, and it's Electric Light Orchestra, A New World Record. Really good one. I mean, I like how I'm saying it's a good one, even though if I have it on record, that means you know I really like it. So I'm gonna see if I can stop saying that. But Tightrope, Telephone Line, Rockaria, So Fine, Living Thing, Shangri-La. Yeah, I definitely want to get Out of the Blue at some point, but we'll see when that happens. And next up we have the Fs. I only have 2 F records, and that's Fleetwood Mac Rumors. Again, I'm pretty sure I don't need to say much else because it's just how legendary the album is, but it deserves its status. It's one of the greatest albums of the 70s, I would say. Yep, so I'm just going to keep moving along. But now we have Foreigner, and we have 4, which might be my favorite Foreigner album if I'm being honest with myself, because you have a lot of great songs like Nightlife, Jukebox Hero, Waiting for a Girl Like You, Luann's a great more deeper cut, Urgent, Girl on the Moon. Yeah, it's a fantastic album, I would say. Definitely an album I think more people should talk about more. But yeah, it's great. Love it. Now we go on to the G's. We have quite a bit of G's, really. So here is one that I've shown before. We have Genesis's Foxtrot, and I can't reach it, but I do have 2 copies. This is my main copy, and then I have a misprint copy of it, which has 2 side 1s, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I just had to get a replacement one. But at least this one is in good condition. And of course, gotta show the gatefold on this one because I just love this artwork. I think it just looks absolutely gorgeous. Love the colors of it. Yeah, that's the great thing about having a gatefold, and just seeing the full image is excellent. So there we go. And then I went from prog Genesis, and now we're going to immediately go to pop Genesis with Invisible Touch. Every Genesis fan's favorite album. Sarcasm aside, I mean, I still love Invisible Touch. I mean, I love pop Genesis as well. Yeah, I've said it in great lengths before, but yeah, I know there's 2 camps to Genesis, but I love both. So there you go. And then we have the Guess Who with American Woman, which I talked about not that long ago as well. Especially how I totally did not realize there was a woman's face there for the longest time, but now getting it on record, you can clearly tell that's what it is. But still, excellent. Really good rock album. And then let's just go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the H. And I only have 1 H. And I got Heart's Bad Animals. Now, I'm not going to say it's like my favorite Heart album, but I got it because 1, it was sealed when I got it, and 2, it was $5. So hey, I mean, I like some of the songs on it. It has Alone on here. I love the title track of it, which is really good. There's the Girl is a nice song sung by Nancy. So it's a good album, but do I love it? Maybe not entirely, but it was cheap, so I couldn't pass it up. And now we have quite a bit of J's, actually. I didn't think I have that much J's. Well, technically this one I just put in the J's because it's hard to tell where to actually put this one alphabetically. So I just put it in the J's because the title of the album is Jesus Christ Superstar. Yeah, got the rock opera, of course. Love this one. Definitely an excellent rock opera. Love the playing on here. Everyone doing a great vocal delivery, especially Ian Gillan as Jesus. Yeah, I love it. It's another really good rock opera, and you know, it was a movie. It was a Broadway show. It has definitely stood the test of time, I think. So, just want to showcase that one. And then here is an album, even though I wouldn't say it's like my favorite album in the world, but it's still really good, and it's just one I wanted to get on record, and that is Jethro Tull's "Thick as a Brick." And probably another big reason I wanted it was solely to have the whole newspaper look to it, so you can actually read the paper, you know, actually flip through the pages, go through everything, see all the dumb stuff that is written in here, all the bogus articles. Yep, just one I wanted to get. And then we have my favorite Billy Joel album up next, and that is The Stranger. Yep, still my favorite. Love every song on here. To me, there's like no like fillers. I know people like to dunk on the last two songs, but to me, I think they're good too. They're not as strong as the other songs, but they're still fun in their own right. So there's that. Then we have Elton John. Got his classic album, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Great double album. Love a lot of the songs on here. I mean, Jamaican Jerk Off, that's my only one I'm like on the fence about. But all the other songs I think are really strong. A lot of classic songs, of course. But another one I wanted to get on record for quite some time. And then after that, we have another one of my favorite albums of all time. We have Joy Division, Unknown Pleasure. This is definitely another one I've wanted to get for a long time. Now again, it's not an original because it's another one of those cases where an original can go for a lot of money. So I went for a repress or a reissue of it, which again will suffice for now, but definitely an album I want to get on record because I love this album dearly and really cool to have. So I'm going to slide it in again, and then we only have two more of the J's, and here we have Journey, we have Escape, probably one of their most well-known albums. Of course, it has Don't Stop Believin', Open Arms, Mother and Father. Yeah, at least it's my favorite Journey album, if I'm going to be honest. And then we have only one more J, and that is one of my few metal albums, and that's Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance. Probably my favorite album from them. I guess, actually, yes, it is my favorite album from them. And this is actually a Mexican pressing. You can tell because a lot of the writing's in Spanish. So that's kind of interesting. Kind of makes this one stand out. But yeah, it's heavy. Rob's vocals just out off the chain, and a lot of great songs on here. Very, very good metal album. And then we get to my only K album, and that is In the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson. One of the great progressive rock albums ever. Of course, credited as really spearheading the genre. And love the album cover. That's all I gotta say. Just, I love the cover, love the album. I only have one L. No, I didn't mean I took an L. I mean, this band starts with the letter L. You got Led Zeppelin, the Untitled album, or Man with Sticks, Led Zeppelin 4, whatever that you want to call this thing. Yep, had to get this one. I mean, a no-brainer. I would love to get Physical Graffiti someday too, but still, classic album. Not much else to say. And then we can finally move on to the M's. So the first two from the M section are from the same band, and that is the Mamas and the Papas. We have the debut album, If You Can Believe Your Eyes and Ears, and then we have the self-titled album. Definitely of the two, this is my favorite because it has California Dreamin' on it, so got that. It's got that over it. But this is still a pretty good album too. I mean, both these albums are really good, like 60s pop or sunshine pop. From what I've looked up, that's what they're labeled as. But still, really good records, really worth exploring. And then after that, we have Paul McCartney up next, and that is Band on the Run. Another fantastic album from him, probably my favorite from him, honestly. Band on the Run, Jets, Bluebird, Mrs. Vanderbilt, 1985. Just excellent stuff. And this is a US version, so it does have Hell on Wheels on it, which the original UK did not have. So it's pretty cool. Of course, my CD copy has pretty much all the songs, so I'm covered. So let's go ahead and slide it in. And then we have Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. Another awesome badass cover, which, you know, to some is probably false advertising because the music does not really represent this too much. It's kind of more theatrical, but that's kind of why I love it. It's so over the top, so bombastic, and Meatloaf's vocals are just staggering, and Jim Steinman's songwriting is really excellent. Yeah, another one of my favorite albums ever, so I had to get that one. Then I only have one more M to show, and that is Joni Mitchell with my favorite album from hers, and that is Court and Spark. This is when she was going more of a folky, jazzy sort of approach, and I think it worked extremely well. Love the songwriting, love her vocals on this one. Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of nuances to this one, and that's kind of why it's one of my favorites. And I say it's one of, but really it's my absolute favorite from Joni. So we have no N's or O's, but we have some P's. And of course this first P is definitely a must-own for any record collector, and that is, of course, Dark Side of the Moon. Again, another album that needs no explanation. I mean, it's Dark Side of the Moon. I mean, it's one of the best albums ever. What do you want me to say? Okay, let's go ahead and keep moving. We have two albums from The Police. Here we have, I guess, I used to say the debut is my favorite, but I think this is actually my favorite in recent time, Ghost in the Sheen. Love the vibe on this album. It has my favorite Police song, Everything She Does Is Magic, which is, again, one of my favorite songs ever. But the rest of the album just has this very unique tone. Hard to describe, but I love what they did on that album. But this album's really good too. This is another one Scott sent me, and that is Synchronicity. Of course, the big selling album with a lot of big singles like Synchronicity 2, Wrapped Around Your Finger, which I showed the single earlier. I don't know if I said Every Breath You Take, but of course that one. And love the other song. What was it called again? It was King of Pain is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, another good album. And of course this is one of the many variants they have of this cover. So now we can go ahead and move along. Okay, let's go ahead for the R's. We have Lou Reed, Transformer. Love Lou Reed. Again, he's not for everybody, but I've said this before, but with Lou Reed, he represents a lot of weirdos. Or weirdos, outcasts, anybody who is kind of sidelined. And then he's able to put these into words that most people weren't at the time. And I respect that a lot. Of course, produced by David Bowie and Mick Ronson. Vicious, Perfect Days, and that is a lovely song. Of course, you have the big hit Walk on the Wild Side. Then I'm So Free. Then, let's see, Makeup, Satellite of Love. Yeah, really nice album. And here's probably one of my more obscure records that I own. We have Renaissance, Turn of the Card. Don't know Renaissance, they're a progressive rock band. And what makes them stand out, they're one of the few prog bands that have a female lead singer. We have Annie Haslam on lead vocals. And if you are getting into progressive rock, definitely check out this album. I mean, I love Annie's vocals. The musicianship is lovely. Has this very beautiful quality to it, but which is absolutely lovely. So it's definitely a recommendation if you have not heard this already. So go ahead, put that back in there. And then we have my only Rolling Stones album, and that is Let It Bleed. I definitely want to get more. I still want to get Sticky Fingers. Exile on Main Street will be good, but this is definitely good to own. It's an original, by the way. It's on the blue London label, which is nice. But yep, got Give Me Shelter, Love in Vain. Let's see. Yeah, you can't always get what you want. Midnight Rambler, Monkey Man. Yeah, great Stones album. And we're done with the R's. So we can go ahead and move on to the S's. Here we have Simon & Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water, which is fantastic too. Definitely my favorite from them. And then we have Steely Dan with my favorite album from them. We have The Royal Scam. Again, thank you to Scott for sending me this. But yeah, it's my favorite one. Of course, this was the album before Asia, which is another good one, but I love this one too. Again, I love the playing on here. The funk aspect really comes into play, especially on the Fez, which is probably my favorite song on here. But Kid Charlemagne, the title track, Don't Take Me Alive, Everything You Did, Great stuff, great stuff. Then we have some Styx. We have, of course, The Grand Illusion. It's, I guess, still my favorite Styx album. This just has so many excellent tracks. But this one is in close second. We have Pieces of Eight, which has one of my favorite Styx songs with Queen of Spades. An excellent deep cut. But of course you have Renegade and Blue Collar Man. And now we go to Supertramp. Of course you gotta have Crime of the Century. My second favorite Supertramp album. And then my favorite one is kind of the cliche choice, I know, but you know, it's Breakfast in America. So many songs I just love on this one. Gone Hollywood, the logical song, Goodbye Stranger, the title track, and my favorite deep cut, which is Just Another Nervous Wreck. Excellent deep cut on there. All right, we're done with the S's, and now we can move along to the T's. Okay, I'm going to try to see if I can go through the rest of these because there's not too much left. So let's see. So we're in the T's, like I said, and here is one of my crowning jewels, I will say, and that is my beloved Maria Takeyoshi with her album Variety. This is a Japanese album, of course, so this was not cheap, but luckily I was able to get it for a decent enough price where I didn't have to sell an arm or a leg for it. But I talk about her a lot, and it's one of the great city pop albums, and this was really the album that really spearheaded me getting into more Japanese music in my collection. And yeah, again, Plastic Love. Love that song, and so many other songs on here. Every song I just love, and just the production is just absolutely amazing, just clear. And I will say, this is probably my best sounding record I have in my entire collection. I mean, granted, again, it's a Japanese album, so you know how Japan is with their technology. They have all the best stuff, and you can definitely tell on this thing. And the thing about this is that it's written as like a, you know, an excellent condition, which is not like it's not like a mint condition album or a near mint album. It's like somewhere close to the more middle part. But again, it sounds amazing. There's like no issue with it. So it's cool. Yeah, definitely glad to own this one here. All right, then we have Thin Lizzy, Johnny the Fox, my favorite Thin Lizzy album. Killer album, no filler in my books. Great guitar work on it. And then we're actually already done with the T's, and now we can move on to the U's, which again, not many. I only have, I should have two. Yeah, two. So first one is this one. We have UFO, Lights Out. I've been talking about UFO in recent time. Again, check out my video on me going through their first two albums. But this is probably my favorite UFO album. Again, Michael Schenker's guitars, again, off the chain. And just the songs themselves are just cool. They range from very heavy, although on some occasions, sometimes tender. Don't know if that made sense, but still. And then we have Uriah Heep, Look at Yourself. And I wanted to get this one on record because honestly my CD copy does not do the album cover justice. You have to get it on record because you can actually look at yourself. I don't know if this is working, but yeah, it's actually a mirror on the cover, which is kind of cool. But it's my favorite Uriah Heep album as of right now. Don't want to blind you, but still very heavy. Very good album. One of the most underrated hard rock bands of the 70s in my books. Okay, then we go to the W's. We have Whitesnake with Slide It In, which is funny because I've been saying Slide It In all video. But here's the album. Yeah, my second favorite album from them, of course. On some occasions, maybe my favorite. Don't know yet. It kind of flip-flops, honestly, but I love that album. And then we have The Who, Dan Scott's. This is actually the first record Scott ever sent me, and the first record I ever had, period. But again, it's no album I don't need to explain much. We already know what it is. We know how classic it is. And again, Scott sent me this one as well, Meaty Beaty, Big and Bouncy. Just a compilation album, but has a lot of good songs on here too. And the final two albums, we have Yes. We have, of course, Close to the Edge, which is one of the great prog albums ever. But that said, this is my favorite Yes album with Relayer. And As per usual, I gotta showcase the gatefold so you can see the gorgeous Roger Dean artwork. Yeah, it's my favorite Yes album, as I've also said on many occasions. It's kind of their more jazz fusion approach, but it's just excellent. And the first song, the Gates of Delirium, is just epic. Sound Chaser is just bonkers, but I love it. And then you have the very gorgeous To Be Over. Yeah, it's just so many great dynamics on this one. I just love it for it. But Close to the Edge is still really good. It's probably my second favorite. Well, I think that's it. I don't think I have any more records to show, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a...
So you think you can stone me and spit in my eye?
I can't believe I almost forgot! How could I have forgotten my favorite band of all time? You're probably wondering why it's separate from the rest of the collection, and that is because it's Queen, of course. And so Queen is on a league of its own, so it's separate from everyone else. But here we go. I'm just going to quickly go through my Queen collection here. And I actually have 2 Queen 45 singles. The first one I'm going to show is ironically the song that's considered one of their worst songs. And it's Body Language. Found it on a record store, so I couldn't pass it up. You know, it's Body Language. I mean, if you say this song's bad, I'm honestly not going to argue with you. But the B-side is actually better. The B-side is, of course, Life is Real, Song for Lennon, which is a good song. Nice song from Hot Space. So there's that. And I also have the 45 to Face It Alone, which came out when they released that Miracle box set a couple years ago. You know, the song is not one of their best songs, but it's interesting. Kind of hear an outtake. Obviously, you hear it, and to me, it's like, yeah, I can see why it didn't make the cut, but it's still interesting to say the least. So I have it. But those are the 45s. Now we get to the actual records, and I pretty much have all the 70s albums. So of course, I got the debut album. Of course, I talked about this in my best or not best, but underrated debut albums, and I still stand by that. Then we have, of course, Queen 2. This is the 2011 remaster of it. It's not an original, but still, it's Queen 2, so it's one of my favorites, so I had to get it at some point. Then we have Sheer Heart Attack. It's actually the first Queen album on record that I bought. It's very cool. And most of these are originals, aside from the Queen 2. I think all my Queen records are all originals. And then we have this monster album. Of course, we got Night at the Opera, which is very lucky to actually get one in this good of a condition, because most copies you'll find is usually very yellow. But here is still relatively white, so that's kind of nice. And then we have Day at the Races. Excellent album. I guess you can make the argument it's maybe could be underrated, maybe, to the grand scheme of things. But still, very nice. And this one's more of a club edition. I guess this is something they would give to the clubs or something, but still sounds fine to me. And we get News of the World. You know I had to do that again, but yeah, it's News of the World. Another lovely album. There's the record, by the way. Then we get to jazz. Another underrated album, The Last of the 70s. I actually played this recently. Really good album. A lot of good deep cuts on here. Then the last Queen record or album I do have is The Works, which is actually a more recent edition I got earlier this year. And yeah, this is my only 80s Queen that I have. But still, it's pretty good. Got Radio Gaga, I Want to Break Free, It's a Hard Life, Is This the World We Created? Really strong album, I think. And, you know, might as well show this. I mean, we have the Queen 1 box set, and it does have a record inside. I'm not going to open it, but there is a record in here. But definitely wanted to showcase that as well. And there you go. So all the Queen albums I have so far. And my quest is to get all the albums on record, and maybe even get many other different pressings of each album if I can. Basically, be the parallelogram of Queen, if you know what I mean. But still, just want to show the Queen albums as I put them all back in order. So, what do you think, Freddie? Did I make it up to you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, now I'm pretty sure we went through all the records that I currently have as of 2025. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a like. If you are new, please subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, make sure you either check out my Patreon or become a member here on YouTube. Links in the description. But other than that, I will see you in the next video. Take care and goodbye for now.